and welcome to Joy 99.7 FM. This is Strong and Sassy. My name is Noeli Aram Ablayoisi. I'm sitting in for our regular host, Enim Ado. Now, we all know that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and this month on the show, we're talking to breast cancer survivors, but we're doing something different this month. We're talking to the survivors and also their partners, because we want to do the holistic approach. We talk to them about their journey, how it has affected their families, and all the supports that they've received. Last week's episode was amazing, and this week is going to be another interesting one, so we're glad you joined us. And tonight in the studio we have this amazing woman, and I was talking to her before we started the show, and she's so bubbly, right? And I was asking if she was like this when she was going through the cancer, but she will be here to tell us all the story. We're joined tonight by Mrs. Susan Tsotsoo Malik. And she's not just a breast, I don't even say a survivor, I think we need to call them like warriors, like she's the breast cancer warrior, and she's the founder of Mod Local Breast Cancer Foundation, and her husband, Mr. Abubakar Abdul Malik, will be joining us on Zoom. But then, interesting, she's in the studio with her brother-in-law, and they have such an amazing relationship. We're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube. You can check us out. They look so alike, you think that they're siblings, right? And he is Mr. Abdul Malik Tawfiq. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How has your day been?
It's been awful.
Tiring.
And I mean, Auntie Susan, before we get into the, I'm sure this, because you're a breast cancer survivor, this month is a very busy month for you. And I was talking to you backstage, and do we say backstage? Before we go on the show, about your journey and how it's been. And we're so glad that you're here to share your story. Now, the reason why we're doing this is because, yes, every month, October, is breast cancer awareness, but we want you to hear these stories so that it can jolt your brain to go and get checked. Know that early detection is always the best. Hear these stories. Be encouraged that even if you're going through this, you have all the support that you need, all the resources that are available to you, so that you would not have to go through what some of these women went through and not be alone. So let's get into the conversation. But you can send us a message, and then if you have any questions, you can call later in the show. You can send us a message on 055-1111-997. Auntie Susan, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So let's get into it. We're going to start with how did you get detected? What happened on that day?
Okay, so good evening to your listeners. And hello to all warriors that are living.
Yes, the warriors.
And I want us to respect the taking. We've lost a lot. Personally, I've lost 91.
Wow.
Since 2019 to date.
91 women.
Yes, I want to respect them tonight. They should keep resting whilst we keep fighting.
Absolutely.
So I was diagnosed in 2019.
Okay.
But then I believe I've lived with the disease for about 2 years.
Before 2019?
Before 2019.
Okay.
Why am I saying that? I was having a chest pain.
Okay.
Mine didn't come with a lump.
That's good to know.
Which has been the news all over.
Yes.
Look out for lump. For me, when I'm giving my talk, because of my personal experience, I try to emphasize on the fact that it's not only the lump that will expose you to it or call your attention to the fact that you have something going on.
Okay.
So yes, mine didn't start with the lump. Mine started with chest pain, which usually comes out of I didn't lie down well.
Okay.
Your pillow is not well. You need to change and then lie down well with time. So I was just cracking my chest and moving on. It still didn't occur to me, like no news.
Exactly, because chest pains and breast cancer.
Yes. Yes. But then along the line, I started feeling pains in my breast.
Okay.
At this time, I would say it has already gone far.
Okay.
Because I was living with it. Because there was no pain in my breast, I wasn't feeling, I was sick.
Okay.
But then I think when I went to I was going for my first degree course at the time. And I remember during our exams week, final year exams, the pain became so severe that I couldn't help. Okay. It was one night that I felt the lump.
Okay.
So it means I've been living with it. I didn't even know.
Absolutely. So I get how you said you feel you've been living with it.
Yes. So I decided to finish the course. Then I can pursue treatment, which I did. Okay. So we ended the exams on a Sunday. Monday I was in the hospital.
Okay.
Checked. I was given some medications. I exhausted all, but no change. The pain was rather increasing.
Wow.
So I went back to still, in fact, at this point, I was still not thinking of breast cancer.
Okay. And
because the basic thing when you ask Google to tell you is it's painless. And I am experiencing pain. So I couldn't relate.
Never check Google for diagnosis. They just make things worse.
Yes. So I was giving myself that kind of hope that that's not it. Okay, so I went back. Unfortunately, the first time, the doctor didn't ask for any kind of labs or scans to tell. She was like, oh, this pain, this medication will subdue it. The lump will disappear.
Wow.
So that alone gives Google the plus. That it has given me the right information I want.
Oh my God.
So the second visit, then I noticed, no, you can't give me the same medication. At least I'm sure the first one I took didn't work.
Yeah.
So I was expecting different thing.
Yeah.
So it was that moment I felt that godly thing that a voice spoke to me to check for another thing.
Yeah.
So I was right in the facility and I called a doctor friend of my husband.
Yeah.
So when I called, he said, unfortunately, she was at the facility.
That same facility?
That same facility. But then she used to be in Kolebu.
Okay.
So quickly I went to see her. And she didn't check me. She gave me to another specialist. Okay. So in touching my armpit, before coming to my breast, all he said was, it was a man, a young man. He's like, oh, I suspect breast cancer. And that's okay.
You took it well because you just said, okay.
That's all I could say.
Was it from shock?
I really don't know. That moment, I don't know. But when I said, okay, then he asked me, Mrs. Malik, did you hear what I said? Exactly. And I said, yes. You said I have cancer. And I will manage it.
Wow.
And I left. But when I sincerely, when I was leaving the hospital, I had two people on my mind that I don't know how to present the case to. And that's my husband and my very elder sister.
Wow.
Because she is not here, my husband is here. But I didn't know how.
You were going to. I mean, how do you tell? And then we'll speak to your husband when we get him. How do you tell? Okay, so we know that we have your husband on the show. Hello, good evening, Mr. Abubakar Abdul Malik. Hello.
Hello, a very good evening to you and your listeners.
Thank you so much for joining us on the show. And as you can see us, and as you were listening, we're talking to your wife, and we just got to the point where after going to a doctor twice, and then another doctor says, you have breast cancer, and then she says, okay. And then like she said, she was thinking about how she was going to present the news to you. When she eventually did, I'll ask her how she did, but when she eventually did, how did you take it?
I wish I could recall the event that day. But I know it didn't go well, you know. expect to take such a news well.
Yeah.
But the point is, I was not the direct patient or victim at the point.
Yeah.
So the first thing that came to mind is welfare.
Okay.
I needed to also take it lightly so that we look at the best way to deal with the issue. So what I went through that day, I think I didn't let her see. I took it also as if it was normal.
I know.
That she should just, then we see how to deal with the situation.
Right. Well, we have your brother in the studio, and then he eventually found out. How did you find out? And how did you take it?
Good evening to your listeners. Okay, I think I was told by my brother that this is what the wife has told him, and she needs our support. So I was like, oh, that's fine. We are here together, and we'll go through it with her.
We'll go through this together.
Yeah.
And so that was how the journey began. So let me come back to you, Auntie Susan. So all the three people, minus your sister who we couldn't get on. So you told your husband. He said okay, just like the way you said okay. Then he told him and he said okay. Then how did the treatment begin?
Okay, so when I was told the news, then he added that to be very sure I have the disease, he would like to give some scans and the necessary things to determine by pure medicine that I have the disease.
Yes.
So at this point, it means we were all speculating. So I went there. That was at the time we were planning. My husband, their last brother, they are 4 men.
Wow.
So I'm their sister,
their only sister.
So at the time we were planning his wedding. Yeah. So it was mixed feeling
because you're planning a wedding, supposed to be happy. Then the only sister is diagnosed of cancer.
Yeah, and I was determined to be part of the wedding too. So
of course,
somewhere, somehow, I went through the scans, mammogram, ultrasound, biopsy. In fact, the doctor I met to give me the request gave me a whole bunch of it at once. Yes, I had everything at once, and which was quite expensive because, and I loved it because it helped me fast track my treatment, and that's what has kept some people in their graves now. Because you come and get ultrasound, you go back, you go and get X-ray, you go back. The time you go back again, the disease is still spreading. Yeah.
Okay. So, I want to ask your husband a question about when she eventually told you about the news, she's done all the tests, it's confirmed. What was your biggest fear?
Well, of course, I think with cancer, the biggest fear ultimately was death, fear of death, of losing a loved one.
Yeah. She said that.
Yeah, that's the greatest fear, you know, because there's no bigger fear than losing a loved one. However, there were other fears too, you know, knowing that this is going to be a long journey. So I was as well thinking about how we are going to go through this.
Yes.
Because I knew that obviously it's going to be
expensive.
Very expensive and also time and resource consuming.
Yes.
But all in all, I still knew that there's nothing new under the planet. We'll still go through it one way or the other. So in actual fact, that was the greatest fear anyway.
Tofik, was that your fear as well, losing your only sister?
Exactly. It was my fear. But I knew people has gone through it, and they were like, they didn't die.
Okay.
So with the support we give her, I know through the support she will make it. So that's why we're supposed to be there for her.
Yeah. before we end the show, I'll ask how important their support was for you to get through this process. So you did all the scans, and I know cancer comes in stages. Yeah. So what was stage?
Stage 3 at the time.
Wow. Is that far advanced in the categories?
Well, I would say mine was even a localized, but I had an aggressive cancer at the time. Yes. So
can you explain what you mean by localized, and when we say that?
So localized mean it's not gone into other organs yet. Yes. So now it's all around
the breast,
my chest and my breast as well. Yeah. So quickly I was referred to Kolebu, and then the treatment started.
What was your treatment plan like?
Mastectomy, chemotherapy, and then radiotherapy. So mastectomy is taking off the breasts, yeah, and then chemotherapy is a form of medication to stop the spread of cancer or limit it, and then radiotherapy is just to eradicate the excess after chemo. Yes.
So they laid out the plan for you, and then you started. So which one started for this?
The mastectomy. So I had to take the breast off first.
Okay. What were I've asked everybody about their fears. What were you afraid of? Were you afraid of dying?
No.
Okay.
That was not
one of your fears. So they were afraid that you would die, but you weren't afraid that you would die.
Yeah. That wasn't close to me.
What were you afraid of?
Nothing.
You see why I told you people that she's a warrior?
Nothing.
Everybody else was afraid. So you weren't afraid of anything?
Nothing.
Not living. I know you have 3 children. You weren't afraid that they will be orphaned?
I'm not dying. How would they be?
I love the spirit. So did you have any challenges with your treatments, or was it smooth sailing, or there were challenges with these 3 forms of treatment plans?
Well, my mastectomy, it was exciting.
How was it exciting? They were taking off your breast.
The time they were taking off the breast, I didn't know.
Okay.
I was deceived into bed, and I was butchered.
Okay.
I was whisked back to the ward. I woke up and I could wake up.
Okay.
So what I could feel was I'm alive.
Amen.
So I could take pictures the next day to tell them I'm happy, and I have very good smiling faces. The pictures that I took with the plaster on me. In fact, I had a surgery on Thursday, and we were told not to walk on the same day.
Okay.
And so I walked on Friday morning.
Okay.
I remember my doctor meeting me on the corridor and said, "Oh, how you doing?" I said, "You said we shouldn't sleep too much, so I want to walk." And so it wasn't. I was really ready for it.
Okay.
I must be honest.
And just to interject, would you say that having that fighter spirit, if someone is listening to us, because the whole purpose of this conversation is to create awareness around the disease, and to talk to people who have journeyed through it. And last year, I remember when we were having this conversation, one thing that I've noticed talking to women is it's the mentality.
Yeah.
Because this is a battle against your mind. And like your husband said, he will be there to support you. Tofik said the same thing. But at the end of the day, you are the one.
Yeah.
What should be the mental state of the women that are listening, those who are yet to make the check? If you hear the news and it's not in your favor, what should be your mindset going into this?
Accept the disease.
You think a lot of women struggle with accepting?
Yes.
Wow.
Why me? It can't be me. This shouldn't be me. I don't have it. Some, when they are even diagnosed, they can see their labs reports reading, you have. They say, I don't have. So they will deny themselves of pursuing treatment. So just accept it. And it's just like normal problems that we have in this world. When you see the trouble, accept the trouble, that it's a problem. That's when you can find solution to it. So that's how I deal with myself. It's a problem. We need to solve it. So I accepted I have cancer. I need to battle it.
So you started working on Friday?
Yes, I could walk on Friday. I was discharged on Tuesday.
Okay.
I came home, I had my dreadlocks, so I had to cut my... This time I've started reading about what to expect during treatment. No. So I was still psyching my mind and trying to put myself together for the journey ahead. So I cut my dreadlocks.
You cut your dreadlocks so that you want to do it before your hair starts falling off.
Yeah. I knew what I was getting into. So I had to cut low cut. And then I kept the locks somewhere. So after keeping the locks, then my mind was set for chemo. That's chemotherapy.
Yes.
Then I went for first shot.
Wow.
It was okay. Just I think 2 days or 3 days later, I noticed the small hair that I left. You wake up and it's in your pillow.
I want to ask your husband, when she said she was cutting her hair before she started chemo, what did you think about it?
Yeah, I don't think I had any problem with that. Yeah, actual fact.
His Baba barbered me.
His Baba barbered you. So you just go like, I mean... So
you know that we were informed could grow again. That's one thing. However, to losing the hair compared to losing the one you love, which one would you go for?
I know, right?
So that was the list of my concern in actual. Yeah.
And then, I mean, I'll come to you, her, and then I'll come back to you. How did this...
All right.
You cut your hair. You've finished the surgery. It's now chemo time. How did this affect your relationship, the family, with your children? Did you tell your children? How did you even tell your children that you had cancer?
I want to believe my husband did. He had conversations with them on my disease. I can't really recall exactly what I did.
So there was never a moment where you sat with your children to tell them?
That I don't want to remember. I don't think I remember that.
You don't remember that. So he did.
I think he did.
Mr. Abubakar, how did you tell your children that mommy has cancer?
Yeah, in actual fact, I felt at the point the kids were too young to really understand what cancer is.
Okay.
However, they could feel the pain the mother was going through. You know, the breast pain thing started, I think, a year or two before she was diagnosed.
Yeah, she said 2 years.
Once in a while it comes happy and she gets relieved. So we were all aware she was in that kind of pain that she had to deal with. So when she was finally diagnosed, what I had to do was to just tell the kids that, yeah, this is where we have gotten to. Mommy is sick. The doctor says she has breast cancer. However, she has to go through a series of treatments. And I told them what to expect.
Okay.
Then what they asked is, so that at the end of the day, will the pain stop?
Oh, wow.
And I told them, yes, obviously the pain will stop. So if they take, then one asked me, so if they take out the breast, she won't feel the pain again. Then I said, yes. And she will go through other treatment. And I think they were happy and they were all eager to see their mommy go through the treatment. And she should be eased of the pain that she's been going through from the breast. So we were all ready for the treatment in actual fact.
Wow.
If not for the unforeseen situation that came along the way, even though you know how harsh chemo could be.
Yeah.
However, with the chemo treatment, we had to psych their mind that, yeah, that is how it goes. She goes through this stage that she will be down, but it's a process of killing the bad cells in her. So if she doesn't go through that, there will be no recovery.
Okay.
So like it is said, no pain, no gain. So it means anytime they see the pain, they should take it as she's healing. So that was how we
go through it as a family.
With that situation. And they were so supportive and they understood the situation so well. Even though we all had our down times that, you know,
Yeah.
The kids are also down, but we're all there for each other.
And would you say that taking care of the kids became your primary focus alongside her? Because maybe, I don't know how the family dynamics were, but maybe in the past you helped take them to school or something, but then now that she was down, you're the one taking them to school, making sure they were doing most of the things that she used to do as the mom of the house.
I don't know. Maybe she will be best to answer that question.
Were you able to do everything you were doing as a mom whilst you were going through chemo?
You know, with me, when she was going through chemo, I didn't create any gap anyway. Okay. To the best of knowledge, I did what I know how to do best, just to take care of their own.
She's here, we can just ask her.
Of course, I was doing that when she was even well.
So, I mean...
things at home beside that, you know, we really didn't have like this, the mommy's work, this, daddy's work.
Okay.
That's how we
all do what we have to do when we are available.
Okay.
Yeah, so the kids, I don't think they miss that much when it gets to. And fortunately for us, you know, they were not that young.
Okay.
Yeah. So the elder one could take care of the rest. So we're all there for each other. So we didn't feel that effect so much.
Okay. Uncle Tofik.
Yeah. Yes.
How were you helping Auntie Susan doing this entire process? Were you taking her to the hospital, being there for all the treatments? I want you to say what you did. What was your role?
Okay. During the process, I would say I was a cook, if I could put it that way. Yeah. Because I need to cook for her I do the cooking with my wife, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. She was the one who went to meet
Mrs. Malik.
She
Junior
met
Mrs. Malik.
The dietitian. She was given the chart. So we followed the chart to do her cooking. We cook for the kids as well in the house.
Wow.
Yeah. So
you were in charge of the meals.
Exactly. If we put it that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
Because he's a chef.
Oh, maybe we'll have to arrange something for us on the show, but later after the conversation. So let's get back to, we were at, the surgery was done, we're at chemo, right? But I want to just touch on, they cut your breast.
Yes, I did.
Is it back?
The magic whisk is not here, so it's not being charmed back.
It's not being charmed back. I just had to ask. But so chemo, how bad was it?
Expected side effects.
Like?
Losing my hair. What I didn't expect was to have a mouth sore to the extent I can't drink anything, couldn't eat. And I also didn't expect pain. There was this severe pain and numbness in my legs. In fact, I really don't know, but my first shot, I had so much rashes. And as for the dark skin and all those things, we were expecting them. But I had rashes all over.
Wow.
Yeah, rashes all over me. And then I think my third cycle, that was when the issue started.
Yeah, what happened?
There was a misprescription which ignited my sugars.
Wait, with everything you were going through, somebody misprescribed something else?
Yes, and the interesting part of the whole thing is the first mistake was done by the doctor. Some dosage was increased.
Okay.
And a pharmacy addressed it and corrected it. Now the next thing was the doctor gave the right prescription and the pharmacy gave the wrong medication.
Wow.
So the pharmacy saved you. Now she's causing or he's causing something. So it was something
How did
else.
you even find that out? Because so this problem resulted in something else.
Yeah, we didn't know it was from the dosage. We didn't know.
How did you find out?
According to my husband, he said he was with me and as if I was melting.
God really loves you.
I was just going off. And he couldn't tell what was happening. According to him, he had to call a friend to come and help him carry me to the hospital.
He's here, so let's just ask him. How did you detect this misdiagnosis?
In actual fact, it's interesting. The detection, we didn't detect instantly,
Okay.
Chemotherapy, with each round of chemotherapy, there's this, you need to face this situation where she needed to recover before the next round. So this particular round took longer for her to recover.
The recovery time took longer.
Yeah, it was rather going worse instead of recovering. So at a point, I had to call a doctor that this is a situation. She's getting worse. She's not getting better. And doctors also, it wasn't with us to actually see what she was going through. He was just judging by what I was telling him. So he was like, okay, maybe this particular round was too harsh on her. She will get better. So I should keep updating him. And in actual fact, she wasn't getting better. Unfortunately, when this situation also, in a way, strengthened the family bond, because I have aunties and uncles who really supported in the cause. And I have an auntie, Auntie Setome, which she's hearing. She was very helpful. She is a medical doctor, but in Canada. So I was always in touch with her. She was constantly checking on Susan. So I was briefing her as well. So it got to this stage. She said, no, I should take her to the nearest hospital. Because I could see that she was irresponsive. She wasn't responding to anything.
Wow.
So I think at that point, I even felt we were losing her. So Susan virtually went off for about 2 or 3 days that she couldn't recall any event. So that was when I took her to the hospital, and she was then tested. To get a vein was hectic. Later, they got the vein, they had to do tests, and she had high sugar level.
20.
Then now, these doctors and nurses wouldn't believe me that my wife is not diabetic. So interesting. They felt, I don't know, they felt that I didn't know what I was saying. Told them, no, I'm not just ignorant like that. My wife is not diabetic. They said, no, the test they've conducted is showing that she has high sugar level. Then I said, no, she's not diabetic. So they were looking at how to now bring down the sugar level. So, but they wanted to know, they wanted to just confirm that she's diabetic and know how to treat it. And I didn't give them that confirmation. So in the process, my auntie in Canada was also in touch, and she asked me. So she asked, okay, what drugs has she been taking? So she asked me how to go for all the drugs. Then there's this steroid in it. I've forgotten the name. It's a steroid. So when I mentioned the name, she said, pause there. This steroid, give me, what dosage is she taking? Then I gave her the dosage.
Wow.
Then she said, no, you are not to take this steroid for this long. The dosage she's supposed to take for 2 days. Unfortunately, the pharmacist interpreted the 2 days for 2 weeks.
What?
Yes.
I mean,
So
just pause. This means that if you were not this watchful and careful and had call other people to find out what was going on, your wife would have just died.
Yes.
Exactly. She would have.
Because after taking her to the hospital and explaining it to these people, you still had to get a doctor to ask you to see what medication she was taking, check the doses. That's how far you had to go.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that was how she told me, no, I should go back to the doctor treating her and tell them that this is the situation. She's taking overdose of this steroids.
Wow.
So I did that before they now understood what I had been saying for hours. I tried to convince them for so many hours my wife is not diabetic. So before they now understood that it was the steroids that, and the side effects were massive.
Yeah.
So we had to deal with that.
I will let her tell me what the side effects were. So what did this high sugar, wrong dose situation, what did it cause? Apart from the fact that you couldn't remember 3 days of what was happening to you.
If no more. Because even after the 3 days, they claim I've stayed in a hospital, which I was transferred to another place. I believe that was the ward. I could still not recall. People come after to say, we came to the other, which hospital? So I want to believe it didn't go for just 3 days. That aside, the side effects were just too many at the same time. At that point, I could feel some kind of fear.
That's when your fear...
But no fear of death. For that one, no.
Okay.
But I didn't know what was wrong with me anymore. Yes, because when I came back to myself, I remember they were looking for my vein to put something, I don't know what it was. They couldn't get. It was a whole lot of drama within a short time. And then these injections on my shoulders, it got to a point I couldn't raise my hands again.
Wow.
Then they said they have to be injecting my tummy. They will be injecting right side, and the next time the left side. But in all of these, I never stopped praying. I must be honest.
God loves you. It's evident because
I never stopped praying. I don't want to leave that part out. I never stopped praying.
Would you say that you believe that a lot of women out of the 91 that you know have probably died and didn't survive breast cancer because of certain misdiagnosing, like
prescription.
Misprescription from like.
Well, having had that story, fortunately, I've been able to have direct contact with them before passing, but I've not had that story from anybody. They have different reasons
for that,
for their passing. A lot had different reasons.
We'll talk about your foundation later in the show because I feel like, the Bible, you hear that sometimes we go through these things so that when we get over it, we will be able to help people who are going through that. And I'm sure that this is some of the things that motivated you to start your foundation, and you're able to look out for people when they have these issues.
Yeah.
So you survived that situation, and then what next?
Well, I was only praying that I get well to continue my chemo, because I wasn't done. I was going for 6 rounds.
And this was what, round 3?
Yeah.
No wonder people just stop chemo and just go like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yes. In fact, my roommates, that was what my situation discouraged her. And that was why I would say she passed. Wow. She stopped chemo because mine wasn't getting well with me. To her. So she saw me at Kolibo and is like, is that you? I said, that's me. I could feel I was horrible because I became very bloated and like a monster kind of thing.
How did this affect you, Mr. The matter self over me.
If over me.
I mean, how did this affect your relationship? Because most times in the vows, they said for better, for worse. Now, I think we've transcended worse at this point in time, because I am hearing your story and how you say you've been supportive of your wife. And most men wouldn't do that. Most men would just abandon their wives and find some nice lady on the side and just be bambaing because life must go on. What were you doing?
I don't know how to explain this, but I just felt that, it was my responsibility to be there for her. I had no other thing in mind at the time, but to do the best I could do to help keep her. Because when she's there for me and the family.
Absolutely.
So nothing else mattered at the time. In actual fact, nothing else. And even though the physical appearance was not bad, was not too good at the time, but
You never mentioned.
What's there to?
She said that you never mentioned that she looked. She said she feel, and
I could say I was horrible, but you never told me.
I didn't see that part. In actual fact, how will I see? Because when I know what we were battling with.
Yeah.
I was trying out for improvement. You get me? So, yeah, maybe looking back at pictures, you could see the difference. But I was more concentrated on the recovery stage. You know, you go to stage 3 chemo. You go to stage 3 cancer. You started chemo, go to the 3rd round. We had this crisis. You could not look worse than you were looking during that crisis period. That's when we had after the 3rd round of chemo. So there's no way you could have looked worse than that, because at that point he was almost gone. You know, and one cannot look sicker than that. So that was the peak. So anything that happened after then was seen as a recovery. So all the other stages that came after that, we saw those as recovery stage. We were seeing improvement. Even if she had swollen legs, swollen arms, they were improvement over when we were almost losing her. So in actual fact, I didn't see that. Even I think I was just there I was just more concentrated on seeing her healthy.
Okay.
I'm not the type that give premium to so much to physical appearance anyway.
I don't know if she agrees to you with that, but yeah. Now you said you felt like a monster. You've cut your hair. You have one breast. You are swollen everywhere. Did this affect your sex life? The people want to know.
Yes. It's something that this year's advocacy we try to talk about. I try to talk about, because a lot of survivors are not able to talk about it.
Yes.
Because they feel it's just them. But I know it cuts across all of us.
Okay.
That libido, they call it, it declines drastically.
Is it because of the treatment?
Yes.
Okay.
The medications.
From the chemotherapy?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I would say combination of everything.
I mean, with everything you have going on, why the last thing on your mind will be sex?
But even after treatment, you still go through that.
Exactly.
Hitches. Even after treatment.
Mr. Abubakar, what did you do all this while? When you were not what's going on around?
I would like to answer.
You answer for him. Please answer for him.
Maybe because this man doesn't have a sister.
Okay.
He sent me and they lost their mom, who was my in-law.
Okay.
She was my elder sister.
Okay. So you were there all in all.
Yeah. I know he didn't misbehave. I know he stayed, because whatever time he stays out of work, we know the time he will get to the house.
Okay.
And when he leaves the house, we know the time he gets home to the office. And if you want to track him, you will track him and you end up in a conference. That's the truth and the reality. He tried to cope. From the beginning, he couldn't understand what was happening. And I was not understanding either. But I had to read about it, and I realized it's due to the medication.
Okay.
So we just have to now understand.
Did you have a conversation?
Come to a level ground to see how, of course, we are matured people, how best we can manage it so it doesn't affect him and it doesn't affect me emotionally. So that's how we've handled it till now. Yeah.
Well, we're going to continue the conversation, but this month we're partnering with Sonotech Medical and Diagnostic Center for this year's Pink October. And we're going to give out a free breast ultrasound voucher to one lucky listener. If you're interested, just send us a message with your name and your phone number. The first message we get with these details gets the voucher. Fastest thing is 055 1111 997. Is there a point where things started turning around?
Yeah.
When? Round 4, round 5, round 6?
You see the picture you're seeing behind me?
Mm-hmm.
It was a crucial moment picture.
What was happening in this picture?
It was a wedding day of...
The last born?
The third born.
Okay.
I think they had the wedding the same year.
Yeah.
Yes, they both married in the same year. No, all three of them.
Got married in the same year?
Yes, Taufik got married. The last born got married, and then the third born was the last to marry. He married around December or so. November. I wasn't done with my chemo and my treatment.
Wow.
And they were all going to say, I'll go some. This point, I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't walk well. Couldn't sit for too long. I can't be at a place where the temperature is below 16. So they have to package me to the venue. So this picture you see, I was seriously battling with my chemotherapy.
And you look good. You don't look like you had cancer.
So my hair gele na sakura.
Hi.
And I remember very well that Mr. Malik has chalked me so I don't fall. That's the picture you are seeing there. So it's a very memorable picture for me.
Yeah.
This picture is very memorable.
How important was your faith for you? How did it get you through this? Because this is one of those but God situations.
Oh, yes. My faith, they know. It doesn't shift. It doesn't. Me, I don't do why me. Now me, and I'll battle it.
Wow.
So I believe God intervened. And I know my kids were praying. My family, as in my siblings, they were there. Yes, they were there. My elder, I'm the last one though, but the top elders, they did their best financially. They were not around to say they are coming to visit and all, but they were there. They supported as they could. And it's all parts. But in this cancer journey, having positive energy around you plus money, that's what will make you survive, honestly. But if money comes and there's no positive vibe around the people you are with, you will be seeing the money and you will die and leave the money. The same way you have good positive energies around you, but there's no money, they will lose you. So I will not take this part out or that. I want to say all. My family's, my husband's family, my own family, they were there.
How did cancer change you? How you used to be pre and post?
Well, the statement is, if you can do cancer, you can do everything. And I live like, you can die today and you can die tomorrow. Do what you can. Don't stress. Because what will stress you is cancer. And it's gone. So what more are you going to put on yourself? Leave it. If you can't handle it, leave it. It's not meant for you to handle.
So I'm sure you are at a point when people just come and you be like, I survived cancer. Like, I can.
You know the problem.
I can handle you.
Yes.
I can handle you. Before we go, let's talk about Mod Local Breast Cancer Foundation. What is it about?
Yes, so Mod Local Breast Cancer Foundation would have been a prostate cancer foundation in my dad's memory.
Okay.
When he turned 20 years after death.
Okay.
And may he rest peacefully. So he was supposed to, I was supposed to launch the foundation in his name at the time. But the month we decided to do something, that month I was diagnosed That was May 2019. So quickly I diverted it. And then it started right from the chemo suite of Kolebu. When you go, you see a patient that's, watch yourself, you know, you get wala. Somebody's wala don't pass
bigger than your wala. So what does the foundation do?
We've done a lot over the years.
Okay.
We've been able to support women go through their treatment financially. We render counseling to new diagnosed. Currently, Kolebu has given us the opportunity to work with them. And if I said them, they are psychologists at the breast clinic department, where every Wednesday is breast clinic. So a rep from the foundation, I want to acknowledge Madam Phyllis Bachman. She's been a very supportive partner who always go, if I don't get to go there, she's there. That we show our scars to new diagnosed to know that you see us beautiful like this, we've gone through what you're coming to go through, so you can go through.
Okay.
So yes, we give financial support, we give emotional support. And of course, sometimes we have 2 times sitting, as in get together, because we know some way, somehow, some will drop off.
Okay. Where can we find you? Are you on social media?
Yes.
If somebody wants to get in contact with you, what do they have to do?
So our website is www.modlocalbreastcancer.com.
Okay.
And then our phone number is 059 466 8485. Is our Momo as well.
Okay, so if you want to support us financially,
yes, we need your support.
You are getting a lot of love from social media. Someone, DK Nati, says you are a warrior. Like I said.
Thank you, DK.
And someone says, Madam, I love your positive spirit. God bless you, sweetheart.
Bless you,
and then we have some messages that says, I'm really proud of you, Mom. Shedding tears listening to your story and the support of your family. And this came from Glenda. And she says she's fun, I guess. It's a laughter listening to her. I like her mentality. And that one came from Nana Kwesi. And we have a winner for the Sonotech voucher. The winner is Gardner Nenli. And so we have your number. And we would reach out to you. I want to say a big thank you to you, Auntie Susan. I want to say a big thank you to your husband who joined us. And to Tofik, who is the chef of the family. Thank you for your support. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for sending your messages. Thank you to my producers. We'll be back same time next week. This has been Strong and Sassy, and my name is Noeli Aram Ablayoisi. We'll see you same time next week. It's bye for now.
Joy 99.7 FM.